name is Steve Wilson, and I'm a non-directed kidney donor. And the question I've been asked many times is why'd I donate? And I guess the first response would be why not? Because we have two kidneys and really we only need one. But I think I really learned a lot when I came across a book by Abigail Marsh, a psychologist from Georgetown University. And she said many people donate when they have achieved something called subjective well-being. And that is, I have a job, I have a family, a wife, I'm very happy in life, I'm very content. And so what else is there? Where is there a higher meaning? So I think I found that in my donation. It's brought a tremendous sense of peace to my life, and it was subjective well-being, I think, is the best way I can put it. I felt that, what else can we do to make the world a little bit better place? That's why I donated.
My name is Lori Lee. I donated my left kidney November 22nd, 2016. It was the week of Thanksgiving. That was a very appropriate week for me to donate because the reason I donated was to pay the gift forward that somebody else gave to my family. In 2011, my dad had a life-saving liver transplant, and it was a very moving experience because I remember the day that he got his liver. I had a major sense of relief that my dad was going to be okay, and when I stopped to think about the family who lost a family member that day so that my dad could get a liver, it just really sat heavy on my heart, and I felt extreme gratitude that people made the hard decisions that they did that day that allowed my dad to get a liver. And several years later, I thought, we benefited from a system that only exists if people put into the system. And I was able to do that. And I thought, why wouldn't I? Why shouldn't I donate a kidney and put back into that system that my family benefited from? And my dad's doing great, I'm doing great. It's just a very positive experience, and I feel so lucky to have benefited and given back to this amazing system.
Hi, I'm Bobby McLaughlin. I donated my kidney January 2nd, 2019, and I broke my wrist in a bike crash and found out I had some donor bone and tissue in there, and that was the impetus to start me down my donation journey. And met someone who donated her kidney and spoke to her recipient and found out how awesome kidney transplants are for people who need them, and felt I was in good health and got tested and approved and was super excited to donate. One of the best decisions I've made in my life. And since then, I've decided to continue to stay involved in kidney advocacy, and it's been the best thing ever. I've met so many amazing people and been involved in so many great projects. So super grateful and super encouraging anybody to investigate that should the desire hit them too.
Hi, my name's Terry Thiede. I donated in August of 2017 at Loyola University Medical Center in Chicago. I had originally responded to a Facebook story about a little boy in Kentucky who needed a kidney, and I just decided to start getting tested. I was between positions, my children were grown, I felt relatively solid about the decision because I was healthy and it was something I could do. I've always been a blood donor. I've been on the bone marrow registry, so this just seemed like a natural step for me. After a while, I was cleared to donate to the little boy, and then his medical condition changed and he no longer needed my kidney. So I did transfer and went to a medical center closer to my home, and was able to start a chain of 3 donors and 3 recipients where we all donated on the same day at the same hospital. So, the real reason, I think it's hard to explain. I was touched by that little boy's story. I put myself in his mother's position and knew that if there was someone out there who could do something, I would want them to try. So I was willing to try, and that's why I donated.
Hi, my name is Ned Brooks, and I am a non-directed kidney donor, which means my kidney, when I donated, went to a stranger. I donated in 2015 at New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell. My kidney went to a young mother in Denver, and her father kidney went to a person in Hartford whose loved one's kidney went to the third person and the last person in the chain. So my one kidney was able to affect the lives of 3 patients, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. The motivation for it was purely spontaneous lightning strike, as happens often to us non-directed donors. I was listening to a podcast by a gentleman named Alvin Roth. And Professor Roth is a Nobel Prize winner in economics, who created the algorithms that allow for the kidney chain that I donated through. And it was a fascinating experience, and I've stayed with the business since then, having started an organization called National Kidney Donation Organization. We're now 5 years old with a team of 30 of the finest people you'll ever meet in your life, and we're having a blast.
My name is Cody Maynard, and I am a non-directed kidney donor. Back in 2017, I donated my kidney to a stranger. I learned about the process after just seeing and meeting a patient who was on dialysis, and I learned about how awful dialysis really is, and to me it just made sense. If everyone has sort of an extra kidney that they can give to someone else, then why not? You know, it's kind of like the analogy, if you're walking by someone who's drowning and you're wearing 2 life jackets, you give them your extra life jacket. And after hearing all the different offerings that the National Kidney Registry provides, safety nets if you ever need a kidney in the future, prioritization, the family voucher program, all of those safeguards for the donors, it really just made sense. And that's the best way I can describe it. With all other donors, they all say the same thing. It just clicked and it says, yes, of course I'm going to do that. So I was a college student at the time and didn't have any real dependencies or responsibilities, and it was a nice, convenient time for me to donate. So I donated, and now I've been advocating with the National Kidney Donation Organization for the past 4 years or so, and it's what I'm passionate about.
My name is Amy Plord. I donated July 15th of 2020, and my sister donated a kidney about 2 years before my surgery, and being with her through her process of evaluation and seeing her and also her recipient, who was an acquaintance prior to her donation, and how this surgery impacted their lives. The recipient's life was improved exponentially, and my sister's life, it didn't change. It was the same great, healthy, athletic. She was part of the kidney donor athlete group. She was running 5Ks and half marathons after donation, and living a really full and healthy life. And I just really became aware of the fact that you can live on one kidney in a very healthy, happy, joyful, and full way. And it really inspired me to explore the opportunity for me to be a kidney donor as well. So I ended up being a non-directed donor and started a chain of 4 people.
Hi, my name is Mark Scotch. I donated on September 30th of 2020. And the reason why I donated, I don't really know. I had just retired for a couple years, and I think a couple things in the back of my mind were just kind of sitting around in my subconscious, to be honest. And it just happened to be that I was looking for, what I'm going to do as a retired person. A number of years before that, my sister-in-law had donated a kidney about 14 years ago. So I knew that you could live after donating a kidney. I didn't know how well you could live. I'm pretty active in some endurance type sports, cross-country skiing and mountain biking and regular biking. So I didn't really have a chance to think about all of that when I met a guy from Louisiana. Met him at a bar, just having a beer, and he got up to leave, and I offered to buy him one to stay, and he said no, he couldn't. And then he ended up telling me that he was had to go home and go on dialysis, and that he was in stage 4 renal failure and was looking for a kidney. And all these things that were stirring around in the back of my mind just seemed to click this in 1 second. The fact that my wife and I had a son over 40 years ago that died. He was 15 months old on life support, and we never thought about deceased ownership, and we never were offered it at the time. It always bothered my wife a little bit that we never had the opportunity to do that, with our son, to help kind of, his memory could live on in somebody else, to help somebody else. So that was in the back of my mind too, but it was never a conscious thing that I'm going to do something because of that. It was never a conscious decision to do something because I'm retired. It was never this conscious decision that I was going to donate my kidney because my sister-in-law donated 14 years ago. But when Hugh Smith said he needed a kidney, I just knew instantly that I could do that, and that I wanted to, and the timing for me was just right. So that's it.
So I've always been sort of valued being a bit of a nonconformist and kind of wanting to do stuff that other people weren't doing. And so when I heard about kidney donation and this idea that I could save someone's life, and the risks to me were not nearly as great as the benefit to them, I thought, like, wow, that sounds really cool. And I'd had anesthesia before. I'd had jaw surgery when I was younger, so that part of it didn't really faze me. And I was very privileged growing up. I had a really loving family. We were well off. I was really lucky in school. And so there's also this feeling of like, I was a lawyer when I donated, and I had this feeling of like, well, if all I ever do with all these advantages I've had is just like make a bunch of money, that would be a real loss of an opportunity. And so kidney donation helped, was one way I felt like I could do something really special and extraordinary.
Hi, my name's Patty Graham, and I donated in 2017. And the reason I donated, my sister donated 16 years before me, so I had that example, and I went to see a talk where someone just gave a 5-minute talk about how their brother's life was saved by a non-directed donor, a stranger donation. And I heard it and thought, oh, that's a thing, you can do that, and I did it.
Hi, my name is Avi. I am 21 years old. I'm from New York City, and I donated my kidney to a stranger in 2019, so I was 19 years old. And the reason I donated, I came across the idea of non-directed kidney donation in an article by a journalist named Elaine Matthews, who profiled his experience donating his kidney to a stranger. And it was really presented to me as this outstanding chance to save someone's life at very little risk to myself. So the risk to myself from donating a kidney from the surgery involved a very slight risk of death, something akin to giving birth or having an appendicitis, and a very, very small increase in the chance that I would get kidney disease toward the end of my life, even though kidney donors still tend to live longer than the average population because they're healthier than the average population. And the benefit of donating my kidney is that someone who is on dialysis and is having a very diminished quality of life gets to live a new life, but both in terms of the quality of life and quantity of life. And so to me, it just felt like a no-brainer. I'd like to live my life by the principle of if I can take a sort of small risk or inconvenience to myself to seriously improve someone else's life, that's something I want to be willing to do. The whole process was excellent. I got to meet the person who got my kidney afterward, and it was one of the best moments of my life. So highly endorse the process. And yeah, it's been 2 years, and I'm totally healthy now. I hardly even think about it. That's how much it doesn't affect my health. Yeah, just all in all, great process.
My name is Elaine, and I donated my kidney in January of 2020. My son AB told me at age 18 that he was interested in donating his kidney, and at first I was very alarmed, but after a little bit of education, about 10 minutes worth of watching a video by Dylan Matthews, and then afterwards reading a couple articles, I said to AB, if all goes well with you, I'm going to do the same thing. I donated my kidney and sparked a chain of 4 people who received kidneys in the days that followed, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. It gives me endless joy to know that this small sacrifice on my part, my only restriction is that I cannot take ibuprofen, Advil. I'm healthy and feeling great, and 4 people now have a much higher quality of life. So the reason I did it is because it's well worth it.
My name is Peter Snow. I was a kidney donor in the year 2018. A family doctor had donated about 10 years prior to that, when he was in his 70s, to a fellow doctor, and that stuck in my mind for 10 years. And then one morning I woke up and I said, let's start looking into that. And I started looking into it at the Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Went up there for the tests. My family found out during the months that it drags on that I was thinking about donating. My niece in Brooklyn, New York, got an email from a fellow churchgoer that she needed a kidney. And she asked me, would I be interested in seeing if I was a match? And I said, I don't care who gets my kidney. So we sent my information up to New York Langone. I was a match. So I transferred my medical records up there, and that January I donated to a 40-plus-year-old woman that had 2 kids. And that's why I donated a kidney. And best thing I've ever done in my life. And no matter what happens the rest of my life, it's like, this could just get me into heaven. Yeah. So that's my story, and I'll stick with that.
Hi, I'm Betsy Snow. I donated in November 2018. Everybody asks, why did I donate? Well, first of all, my husband had donated a year before. And when he donated, I got to meet the husband of the woman that he donated to. And the husband, the first thing he said to me, the very first thing, and I can barely say this still without crying, he said, I don't think you understand. You just gave me my family back. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm sitting here, I have 2 kidneys, and there's people out there suffering to that level. You know, it just hit me so hard. And so I went home and I said to my husband, I said, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to donate this year. So I started the process, and I was finally able to donate in November of 2018. It was actually a forward voucher, because I vouchered actually Ned Brooks's recipient who had already lost his kidney. So she got a voucher and she received a kidney about 3 months later. So it was a huge success story, and I was in a chain, and at the end of the day, I have to say singly, it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mike Lalo, and I donated my kidney to a stranger in December of 2018. Why did I donate my kidney? At the time, I first started to look into helping out a fellow police officer. I'm a retired NYPD detective, and that didn't work out. And then later on that same year, I saw a newspaper article about a gentleman who was also in need of a kidney. And since it came up 2 times in that 1 year, I decided to do some research. And basically what I found was, you know, the risk to myself is so small compared to how you can change someone's life. And once I did the research and looked at the facts and looked at the data, it was honestly just a no-brainer. It's awesome that you're able to help somebody now while you're alive. I'm also a donor on my driver's license, but I'm not going to know what happens, when that moment happens. So it's good to, good to feel good. So highly recommend it. Look into it. Join the club.